It's a trap, you walk right into the hate. All over a new king that's face is just replaced. It's all the same, you still be ruled by force. And no matter who it is, they'll still carry on the torch. Just a lie, cheat, steal, half of what you make. Taxation is steps, it's time to vacate the state. Newsflash, all your cash is an IOU. From killers who really do steal from you. Inflation is a weapon used by every nation who says that they're saving the world through lies. That they disguise and pass off as bravery. Well, I got news, debt is slavery. It don't matter who's madder, a new master don't matter. When they both want the same, the state don't play no games. They got you trying to survive and put you on sides and ready to kill each other. That's conquer and divide. It's all for show, or for hyper control.
That's fucking, we finally have government sanctioned, taxpayer approved funding to prove this is a fake reality. Boy.
And we're back with another episode of Bonesandtubs. We're here with you tonight, giving you everything you want to hear and more.
We haven't recorded it yet, obviously, but I'm going to say this. This week, we come with that fire.
Yeah, we got the fire. This episode,
Fire of Illumination,
is brought to you by the Central Intelligence Agency.
CIA.gov. Now, not like most podcasts that are actually just the new age version of Operation Mockingbird. We actually did this on our own without any government funding, and we're not here to lead you off a cliff.
In cooperation with the Department of the Army.
That's right.
But we're here tonight to talk about Project Gateway.
Yes.
Now, before we get started, of course, that's the prelim.
You clean the house.
Greased up, get you excited. And then we get started. Now, last week, we didn't have a true episode.
Oh, we did. I just couldn't bring myself to edit it. Every time I did, I started, my right hand would move away from the mouse and grab a rusty straight razor. And it would, like, park it right in the middle of my wrist.
Yeah, we...
Trigger warning.
We did it last Tuesday, and we talked about what could happen at the inauguration and everything like that. It was a very time-sensitive episode.
Yeah.
And, I'd say, the only thing I'll say about that is I definitely put it at 40% that nothing was going to happen, that it was just going to be inauguration.
Yeah.
And I was right by 40%.
You just got to wait till March 4th. You know what I mean?
I'm done with them. I have no time for that.
We can't say their name.
I have no time for that.
What is it, the 17th or the 19th letter of the alphabet that we can't say out loud? They're out there, and just to let you guys know, we don't vibe with them, but they're still talking shit. Like, oh, you're scared, you keep chasing.
And I'm going to laugh at them now.
I can't wait until nothing happens on their new specified date of waiting on someone to save them. And then they're like, well, you got to wait till June 30th.
Yeah.
Keep kicking the can, fucking idiot.
It's a psyop.
Psychological operation.
Figure that out. Understand, though, this is the thing that needs to be taken away from all this, is that for every lie they told you, there's probably a grain of truth to it.
For every 2 lies, there was 0.5 truth.
Yeah. It was like a solution of like hydrogen peroxide comes at like 5%.
Yeah.
Hydrogen peroxide, the rest is just water.
Right, because otherwise...
Because if they gave you straight hydrogen peroxide, you would die.
Right.
Like, if you tried to, like, swish that shit, you're dead.
It's over with.
You're dead as soon as it hits your lips.
You're deader than a fucking doornail.
Yeah. So, like I said, think of it like a hydrogen peroxide solution. 5%.
Hey.
Truth.
Just think about it this way. They didn't lie to you about the fact that they're all kitty fiddlers. They're all satanic kitty fiddlers.
Yeah.
That's true. They're fiddling kitties right now.
Yeah, and guess what? They got away with it.
Yep, and they're still getting away with it.
Yes.
Till March 4th.
And before we get started, also I wanted to note that they've also, in his first week in office, he has single-handedly all but destroyed women's sports.
Before we move too far away from it, though, I wanted you to say your quote. You had a good fire quote this week, where you said, so it's okay to fiddle kids then until, such and such date. Like, we're just going to build up to some specific date. And up until then, we're just going to let them continue to fiddle kids.
Exactly. How about the time for, if that's the case, the time for action is now, not to sit on it.
Yeah, let's not wait till the 4th until how many, numbers of children have been trafficked over borders and fucking molested by countless strangers.
Don't be stupid.
Quit being dumb.
That's all I'm going to say.
Use your head.
So.
This is your brain on.
This week, Biden did sweeping rules, basically to allow transgender females into...
Men. You mean men.
Female sports. It's one thing, I really don't care when it comes to it just as them wanting to feel like they're something, but the problem is that there's certain biological realities that have to be acknowledged, right?
Can we talk about this? I wonder if this is a thing we can talk about.
What's that?
on the YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's fair to have a conversation about this because, first of all,
I mean, I agree with you.
There's plenty of people who lean a lot further left than me that are agreeing with me right now.
I meant for the shadow hammer.
I don't see a problem with it as long as I'm not using any
slang terms,
not just slang, but derogatory terms or something like that. It's just a simple matter of biology. Any medical scientist is going to have to agree with me. There are certain biological differences between a biological male and a biological female. Now, I'll take case in point. There was this runner. Can't remember his name to save my life. Of course, I didn't write it down because I'm not that professional.
Not yet.
But amongst the runners in the world, internationally, he was ranked some 390 something, right? He never even broke the top 100. Okay?
He was good. He was okay.
He was okay. I mean, I'm sure he could run faster than me.
Yeah, but you're not competing.
He was no Usain Bolt, right?
Right.
Well, what do you do when you can't if you can't be the Usain Bolt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you be the female Usain Bolt?
Yeah, so he changed his gender because gender's a construct, right?
Physical gender is not. Right? Biological gender is not. Mental, let's say that's a hazy area.
We need to just go into a biology college course.
We're practitioners.
Show up.
First of all, we're practitioners of the Kabbalah, and so we understand that.
Oh yeah.
What exists within all of us is both genders.
Obviously, you and hopefully everyone else out there knows I'm being cheeky. Mm-hmm. I'm not being serious.
No, I have nothing against them like existing, but the problem is I feel like there's certain rules in place established for a reason, right? Like let's take for example, say I lift weights, right?
Yeah.
And I go weightlifting competition and get skunked because I am not by far a strong amongst male weightlifters. I am not the strongest. But
yeah,
if I decided all of a sudden that I was no longer a man and I was a woman and I went into a female competition, I'm pretty sure I could probably do fairly well.
Smoking.
And that's nothing against your gender. Nothing. I take nothing away from it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's merely biology.
Yeah, the amount of testosterone you make naturally, your bone structure, your muscle mass, biological things.
But like I said, there's people on the left that totally agree. Like basically, it was a win for men because now they can take up more space.
You're saying men are truly better at everything?
I didn't say that. No, we're not, because obviously we're not good at gestating babies.
Give it time.
You know, actually, we're not even the best at flying planes. Women are better pilots than us. They can take more G-force than we can.
They're smaller.
Well, once again, it's a matter of biology.
Mm-hmm.
They also can use both sides of their brain simultaneously a lot better than we can too.
Have you ever done a left brain, right brain test to see which one you're more active with?
Yeah, I'm left brain.
I'm right brain.
You're right about analytical and all that stuff is the left brain.
So you're right brain also?
Yes.
So we're both right brain.
But back to the subject at hand, they're able to pass between those two hemispheres a lot easier than we are, and they're better at multitasking than we are. Men, because those connections between our left brain and right brain are, according to biology, is something along the lines of because when we start out as like the zygote or whatever,
mm-hmm.
our gender is not yet determined.
Right.
And then there's a flood of, as male, well, it is determined, but as males, eventually a flood of testosterone comes across our brain as fetus, and it destroys a lot of those connections between our left hemisphere and our right hemisphere.
Yeah.
Ergo, our ability to multitask is hindered.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, I don't know, this is kind of a good tie-in spot. We're not really ready to go yet. We haven't cleaned house, but just to mention it for, the Tarantino aspect and to piss off those people that complain in the comments that we never get right on topic.
Yeah.
You read the part in there about, what was it, turning your brain from an incandescent light bulb into a laser, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're refocusing it. Yeah,
it's kind of the same way with men and women as far as like concentration or efforts.
They can be in 10 places at once.
They're like a really bright incandescent floodlight.
Us, on the other hand, like toe beans.
We're lasery.
She can sit there on her phone with headphones on, looking at her phone and watching TV at the same exact time.
Right.
And I'll check her sometimes, be like, "What just happened? What just happened in the show?"
What?
And she'll tell me. You know what I mean? Like she's good at that. Me on the other hand, I'm one thing or the other. If I'm on my phone, I have no fucking clue what's going on the goddamn TV, and vice versa. You know?
Yeah.
Same thing with playing video games and stuff like that. She can play video games and talk at the same time. I could be sitting there playing Overwatch, and if she comes in and says something, I'm like, God fucking damn it! You son of a bitch.
Yeah. So, just to get into the housekeeping, I think there's nothing really fantastical we need to mention.
Yeah.
Somebody put it best. I think it was Matt Lentz earlier on YouTube. He put a comment on our newest video I just put up the other day. Mm-hmm. He's like, can't wait to see you guys get back to the topic episodes. The world's burning down faster than you can report it.
Yeah. So we might as well just...
Very true.
We might as well just get to things that, you know, aren't... Listen, there's enough current events going on as we speak. You know, between that and changing COVID-19 testing parameters, so now the numbers are going to go down naturally.
It's so funny, though, that, like, just with that, we talked about before that it would go away after the election, and that's literally what happened. They literally changed the news headlines across the country.
Yeah, not even
the day after the election.
Yeah, you know, for months and months and months on end.
No end in sight.
Let's
Death's rising.
Let's take a look at this, because I don't watch too much CNN, but I've seen enough to know that during all of their reports,
so glad you mentioned that.
All the reports, they always had a bar on the side of their screen that had all sorts of numbers about the pandemic pan, whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? And then suddenly it's gone.
Right.
They only show it every once in a while now. You know, apparently there's new strains popping up that are more infectious than the ones before it.
CNN had this author, I use it in air quotes, had this author on who was a mental health professional. Mm-hmm. And he had personal experience in the field with this topic because he was a cult member himself. He was a cult member of the Moody's. Or the Moonies, sorry. Moonies, what was it, the 60s? 60s, 70s? So he wrote a book called The Cult of Trump. A leading cult expert explains how the president uses mind control. And he makes decent points, but he misgenders it all.
Yeah.
And I just use that term because I like it. But instead of just saying it's government, he blamed it all on Donald Trump. And he's got a red MAGA hat on his fucking cover of his book. And you know what he proposed to help fix the problem?
If you say re-education camps.
You got it. Re-education. He called it deprogramming. But he said, not everybody, but a lot of people need to be re-educated, reprogrammed to mold back into our society. This is where we're at now.
This is where they decided we need to be.
Yeah.
You know what's going to be, though? You know, what they like to think it's going to be some crazy Orwellian fucking rat cage on your face shit.
No.
And things like that. You know what they're going to do? Because they don't like extremity. They don't like doing things because extremity leads to people questioning their tactics, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be the slowest, longest deprogramming you've seen in a lifetime.
I think it'll be doxing, losing your scholarships, losing your academic pursuits, losing your job, and social credit scores.
We're going to see it over the next, I'd say, 10 to 20 years. You're not going to see it happen all at once, but they are going to thoroughly try to destroy for generations to come this dude's reputation and what he stood for.
Yeah, you see banks quit fucking with him?
Really?
Quite a few banks have dropped his accounts. Whatever. Like I said, I don't want to pull us off the rails. I just wanted to mention that. You mentioned CNN and it brought it up in my brain.
Oh, I get it.
We do need to mention JNY5 Internet Studios over there on Instagram. Mm-hmm. JNY5.com. He does all the art for the shows. Straight savage.
Just awesome work.
I got to call him or text him this week. It's been a while. It's been a busy week or two. Got to catch up, touch base. Blood the Brave. He does our music. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Anarchy artist.
Yeah.
Anarchist artist.
Yes.
JNY5. Fuck. Blood of the Brave on Instagram. Blood of the Brave, a.k.a. Kyle Reese on Twitter. And bloodofthebrave.com. He's also on Bandcamp. Check him out. Buy his shit. Let him know Bonesandtubs sent you.
Yes.
The Bonesandtubs tribe.
That'd
Call
be
to
good.
action.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That'd be a good time.
Yeah.
So...
we have any emails or anything? Well, we'll do that later.
We'll do that later.
My head's everywhere.
Project Gateway.
Yes.
A very, like, seems like a simple thing. Just a simple name. But it is a very big project. And normally, like, the reading that I did, you would almost feel like you'd find it in some, like, New Age woo-woo book.
Yeah.
But no, the actual D-class document.
They're trying to militarize psychic abilities.
Yes, that's...
And manifestation.
They I mean, this thing reads like you almost want to think that the guy who wrote it, like, had to think, these dudes are going to think I'm fucking goo-goo bananas when I turn this in.
Can I read part of the first page?
Yeah, I got you.
He tells you in the very first paragraph, I think it is. I'm just going to skip around real quick. He writes to the commander of U.S. Army Operational Group, Fort Meade. You tasked me to provide an assessment of the Gateway experience in terms of its mechanics and ultimate practicality. As I set out to fulfill that tasking, it became clear that in order to assess the validity and practicality of the process, I needed to do enough supporting research and analysis to fully understand how and why the process works. Frankly, sir, that proved to be extremely involved and difficult business. Initially, based on, so he basically says here, it made me laugh when I read it. I can't find it. It's in there. It's probably staring me right in the face. But the way he puts it, he's like, you have to not only use, like, the analytical brain, but you also have to step out and, like, think conceptually or in a spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Like, I like to think he was smoking a joint when he wrote this.
Imagine you took it, when I read it and we were talking about it, I think you kept thinking I wasn't enthused about it. I was. But the thing is, it's like, I've read all this. In a way, I've seen all this before.
Right.
In different ways and forms over the years, whether you're reading about Aleister Crowley, the Kybalion,
right,
Magic Volume 1, all of those books, you read through those, it's the same stuff.
Right. But there are two things that I could think of.
But it is put and formatted in a bureaucratic,
taxpayer-funded way.
Yes, exactly.
For a military commander.
Yeah.
There are two things in this that I really liked. That being one, that they were forced to do this because it has validity. And they agree that it has validity and that it works.
Yeah.
And they've proved it over and over again, which is exciting to me. Because there's always a part of your brain that while you know certain things to be self-evident, having external validation of some facts is nice.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I got to get the holograph shit out of there. My head's going to explode. Because I don't know if you got this from it or not. But when they talk about the holographic universe, right?
Yeah.
Holograms, they are... One part of a hologram is just like if you just slice a tiny piece out of a hologram and took it away, you're able to isolate it. It has within it the entire hologram. You see what I mean? Yeah. So the smaller the piece, the more blurry the envision, but it's still the same thing, right? So like the example I saw used is if you throw a pebble into water, the ripples, they come out in a mass. If you froze it instantly and pulled out any part of that water, you could find out in relation to where that water was exactly how big the stone was and where it fell.
Exactly.
Just based on the piece. And that explains the Akashic record. I think we've talked about that before. A lot of these meditation people and people in the magic circles talk about the Hall of the Akashic record, where everything that has been or will be has been written down. A cosmic ripple. It's already been recorded. And you have access to that Akashic library because, although you're just a tiny piece, the more of your brain you use...
You are all of it at the same time.
You're all of it. So you have access to infinite information. That's the Akashic record, explained by holographic theory, theorized and fucking proven by the fucking Central Intelligence Agency.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
I'm yours.
By Wayne M. McDonald.
Yeah, that's fucking... I like that shit, man. Makes my intellectual penis
I love
hard.
how, like, all of it had to do with the applications of how it could be used.
For killing?
For, like, killing and espionage. I feel like espionage was the way... And it kind of takes it... to that, like, you know that the dudes who wrote Stranger Things got their ideas from this, because the big thing they talk about a lot is out-of-body experience, right? And you get that, they talk about it a lot. They talk about how they would leave pieces of code and information on computers in different parts of the country and then make them go into that state and be able to pull pieces of the code.
Right.
But it's like you said, you pull yourself away, things get blurry, right?
Right.
So like they would come back and they wouldn't have the whole code. It's not foolproof, right?
Well, that's the thing too. The amount of concentration required. They said that once. The one thing that I heard from an expert, or specifically it was in Zen meditation. They only mentioned Zen meditation in there one time that I found. Mm-hmm. But they use examples of like how to practice this and how to get good at it with hypnosis, TM, or transcendental meditation. I forget the other one.
Hypnosis. Oh, did you say hypnosis?
Yeah.
Biofeedback.
But they said that one of the most practical ways to make this work, to sync up, they call it hemisync, to sync the left and right brain, is through Zen meditation.
And they also produce tapes, correct?
Yes.
That resonated frequencies.
The Monroe Society, wasn't it?
That you were, they basically,
binaural beats.
They approached it. I feel like I said, once again, they took something that we've known, it goes back to like Hermes Trismegistus. There's nothing new under the sun, right? Mm-hmm. We've done all this before. So like they take this, right? They take this knowledge that we've had forever, and then they apply a scientific lens to it.
Yeah.
Which only leads to my theory that what is perceivably magic is just another form of science misunderstood.
Oh, yeah. Magic, science, it's all the same thing. One is just like a left brain example. The other one's a right brain example.
Because if we're talking about a holographic universe, right, it resonates with me to the, like, with certain things like, what kept coming back in my mind was vibration, right?
Right.
This is vibration translated. This is like, when we talk about the mental plane, this is exactly what they're talking about, and how even though it exists in one aspect, it exists the same in all the others. Yeah. As above, so below.
Right. The binaural beats, everybody should check that out. That's on YouTube. We talked about this a long time ago, right? Probably closer to the beginning of the podcast, where I told the story about seeing the hag. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. I was on vacation as like a fucking, I don't know, 10 or 11-year-old.
Yeah.
And I had a CD player with anti-skip, because that was important. Mm-hmm. Remember those portable CD players? You didn't have anti-skip, it was over.
Oh, yeah, you had to
get anti-skip. You couldn't put it in your Jinko pocket and walk around.
No, exactly.
So I went to sleep. Now, they have different brainwave patterns that they mimic. Your brain tries to harmonize with whatever beat you hear. So that's why this works. So the binaural beats, I think it's theta wave, is like deep sleep, deep meditation, probably close to hemisync. You can type in hemisync binaural beats or just binaural beats and fucking eat your heart out. Put some headphones on and go to town. But I was listening to this one that was theta to put me in a deep meditative state as a young boy in a hotel bedroom. I was sharing a bed with my brother, who was a child at the time. Mm-hmm. And I fell asleep listening to the sounds of rain, and I visualized I was in the middle of this fucking really wet rainforest in a pergola. Mm-hmm. Or gazebo. Mm. And I just kind of walked around in it for a little while. And then when I came back, I saw the hag floating over my brother with her hand over his chest, looking at me like crazy face, feet on the ceiling. And I threw the CD player. Skipped that day. But those are the kind of things you open yourself up to. There's some shit out there. And those binaural beats will definitely help you get to that point.
Yeah. Back to you talked about the gateway experience in hemisync, right?
Yeah.
The best way I saw it described was by a Monroe Institute trainer by the name of Melissa Yeager as a state of consciousness defined when the EEG patterns of both hemispheres are simultaneously equal in amplitude and frequency. Once again, we're applying a scientific lens to something that, you Buddhist monks in Tibet have been working on
getting it in
for centuries now.
Right.
Just not having a name to it. And it goes on to describe the idea of the lamp versus laser thing.
Yeah. You're turning your regular brain, which is like a lamp for illumination, into a laser beam.
Mm-hmm. Focused concentration instead of diffused energy. Right.
Is now a good time to get into the Chinese connection?
Yes, please.
So this is the Army, the CIA, coming up, trying to figure out a way to militarize this for astral projection, out-of-body experiences. It's what the movie Men Who Stare at Ghosts was based on. They literally had groups of people getting together trying to stop the heart of goats, cloud busting, all that shit. Hashtag not fiction. But the Chinese are supposedly so deeply embedded in this shit, right? And this touches on an old episode. We didn't talk about this purposely. I've been fucking chomping at the bit like Christmas morning to tell you about this, to see what you thought. This is why the Chinese are clamping down on the Falun Gong. And there's another group that I forget the name of. But it's another peaceful meditative group. And they've been quoted as saying that these peaceful vegan meditation groups, if properly applied, are more dangerous than the United States and Russia combined to Chinese like security.
It'd be crazy if true.
I mean,
we used before the notion the reason that they were going after the Falun Gong is because they had those
tasty,
those ripe organs,
precious meats
that were untainted by the modern world and its temptations.
It's a great cover story. What if this is the real story, though?
It could be it.
They're just selling organs to, maybe
that's why they're always fucking with Tibet.
Right.
Too, it would make sense.
They've also done studies on areas where I think they were transcendental meditationists. They would go out into these like crime-ridden areas and they would do meditation. And it'd be like a group of 10 or 20 just randomly going around to these cities, like let's just say Southside Chicago. They probably need 500. But anyway, they would go to these areas and they would just host meditation events where they would all meditate together. And just the act of them meditating would lower the crime rates in the area.
That's fucking crazy. I'm sorry, I was just thinking about it. So
I thought you nodded like you knew where I was going with that, and then I saw confusion and acceptance.
Yes, it's all good.
I try.
I get you, but it moves beyond just like what goes on inside the brain. It moves more. It moves out into the universe too. It talks about like the parts that were crazy. The craziest stuff to me were the notions of being able to refocus yourself to be able to travel backwards through time.
Yeah.
And the ability to look into the future as well.
It's titty.
And how those were the most like, apparently like to get to those, and you could read, like you could find this online, by the way, anybody that's wanting to find this.
What's it, CIA.gov?
Yes.
Yeah.
You go to CIA.gov and find this. But they were able to like, determine so this is the part that blew my mind. Let me find it real quick. When it comes to time and space, right?
Yeah,
they were able to this is back in the 80s where the notion of models of what our galaxy looked like truly we're still kind of we didn't know,
right?
It was purely theoretical, like, and even then they weren't sure. But these dudes through their work, we're able to discern, if you look, you go through the documents, that in our universe, right?
Yeah.
Not only is there like a nucleus to it, which is a black hole.
Yeah.
Right? But that we are in a constant swirling pattern outside of that black hole.
Like a proton?
Yeah.
As above, so below?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
And that the crazy part to me is like, so outside those swirls, right? There's these things called toruses, right? And those toruses, if you look at them, what does that shape look like to you?
Fingerprint?
I guess fingerprint.
I was
thinking more of the center.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like a double helix.
Right. DNA. It also kind of mirrors the snake on the rod. The reason why I said fingerprint, though,
He's got the whole world in his hand.
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. Am I the hand that moves or the fingerprint? Fingertips, word is at my fingertips. Reefer in my cuticles. Police want my fingerprints. Count the fucks I give on my left hand if I was fingerless. Middle finger shit. Tell the hookah girl to break some tips.
And it just made sense to me after I read this document. Was that B.O.B. album from, I think it was Earth? The Earth Element, where he said, this world is not what you think it is. Why the hell it spins on a fingertip? Like talking about how basically if you looked at it from above, it's a fucking fingerprint.
Yeah.
As above, so below again.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. Would you say that walking is a form of meditation if you calm your mind?
I think it can be.
Yeah. There's a historical example that lines up with this. Someone you might have heard of him. Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
Whenever he was having a problem with his... Because he had the ability in his mind to create, build, deconstruct any of his inventions.
Yeah.
But anytime he hit a wall, his diary, like he talked about going for a walk, and then he would be hit with a flash of light, and he would know exactly what he had to do. It's like he got tapped in.
It's some Venusian shit. That's what that is.
Yeah. Shout out being from Venus.
We even talked about that, really.
That's admitted.
Yeah.
Was that the CIA too? Or
Yes.
the FBI?
Oh, man. We'll have to go back and look at that. Yeah. We've tapped on it a little bit, but like, that needs to be talked about on the show in depth.
I can't believe they admitted that shit. Or at least put it out there. It's just say it's not PSYOP, but fuck, whatever.
Because the way I look at it, like, when you think about the government and whatnot,
yeah,
you think that when shit like this gets put across someone's desk,
yeah,
they've got to be like, what the fuck are you smoking? Like,
right,
Johnson, you're fired.
Yeah.
See, and I'm sending you for a drug test right now.
The only thing different with this one is this wasn't some crackpot that like came out and decided, oh, I'm going to figure out all this shit. He was literally tasked to do this.
Yeah. Well, and it brings me back to the notion, it goes back to people being like, oh, well, maybe the research never went anywhere. Well, the thing is, if the research never went anywhere, they wouldn't have invested that much time and energy and money into it.
Yeah.
And it goes hand in hand with my theory. It's the same principle that I use to determine how real and how effective MKUltra was.
Right.
Right? You spend that much time and money on something, there's going to be results.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they had results with this. It wasn't just like some flash in the pan. And obviously, there was something to it because they pursued it so much and sent people after it to try to figure out what there was about it that needed to be known.
This is also tied, I believe, I have no proof of this, but it came out at the same time. We talked about how this was either under the umbrella of Project Stargate and Project Looking Glass, which is supposedly one of the government's best weapons in like figuring out how to play things because they can see into the future and multiple futures.
And so back to, say you want to get into this state, right? There's several ways to do it. We talked about it already. Mm-hmm. There's hypnosis, there's transcendental meditation, and then there's biofeedback, right? Biofeedback is merely the process of mimicking. From what I gathered from it, it was more or less it was meditation, but it wasn't transcendental meditation. You were attempting to basically set your body's vibration like wholly in the same, like instead of your heart's beating at one rhythm, you're thinking a different rhythm. Everything would be resonating.
Isn't that the binaural beats, the
Yes.
Monroe Institute? So you basically listen to it, and just the act of listening to it and concentrating, the tone that you're looking for, the vibration you're looking for, you can't always hear it. It's somewhere deep buried beneath the music or the sounds, but your brain, your subconscious mind hears it and syncs up with it.
Yes.
Thus creating HemiSync.
So when you get into that level, there are certain things they're saying that you can do, right?
Yeah.
One of the ones that caught me the most as I was going through this, other than like out of body and stuff we've heard before, was color breathing. Do you remember reading about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. It's designed.
What page is that on?
Oh man, these don't have 21.
Okay.
Is designed to use the expanded awareness and highly focused attentiveness associated with Focus 12 state. So, like, once again, they're bureaucratically going at this.
Yeah.
Right? They're saying this is like
this is level 1.
To imagine various colors in a particularly intense and vivid manner so as to use them to resonate with and in turn to activate the body's own energies. Fundamentally, in terms of practical application, it is a healing technique, which is designed to restore the body and to enhance its physical capabilities by balancing, revitalizing, and returning bodily energy flows.
This is the government speech talking about, what are they fucking called? Oh, chakra healing.
Mm-hmm.
The body's spiritual USB ports. I mean, they've admitted so much in this.
So, like, they say, for example, application of an intense blue light to an area of physical tumescence leads to a relatively rapid and easily observable reduction in the swelling, while red and to a lesser extent yellow have quite the opposite effect. So, like, imagine, if you will, you're one of these, like, what are we going to call these CIA agents that have been trained in this way? Mind warriors? You're one of these mind warriors, right?
Yeah, shinobi mind assassin.
You're in the field, right? You're running away. You trip down a flight of stairs and you break your leg, right?
Yeah.
You get yourself in that state through whether self-hypnosis, you hemi-sync, and then you float down to focus 12, and you think of the color blue, and all of a sudden you can walk again.
Oh shit, bitch!
I
think that's what Neo did in the Matrix, right before he started dodging bullets.
Almost definitely.
Color breathing.
The other thing I noticed was, okay, so and this goes back to my thing about magic and science being one and the same. They talk about energy bar tools, right? Energy bar tools. And he even says, the first line states, magic wands and enchanted scepters have been part of the folklore and occult practices of many cultures. The scepters, staffs, and maces carried by monarchs and high priests alike occur with such frequency in the history of bygone eras as to suggest that at the very least, these items are aspects of some type of archetypical symbol in which the human mind seems to appreciate, perhaps quite subliminally. In any case, the energy bar tool technique involves envisaging a small, intensely pulsating dot of light, which the participant charges in his imagination with enormous energy until it is virtually pulsating. The participant then extrudes the dot into the shape of a sparking, vibrating cylinder of energy, which he then uses to channel force from the universe to selected parts of his body for purposes of healing and revitalization. This made me think of Qi.
Yeah.
It's the same principle.
Ties right in with Qi and that Chinese belief. They call them Tantians. Areas in which you can do these things for different effect.
You know, also, a lot of this made me think of, too, was to dive into the realm of science fiction. It made me think of Dune and the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
Where they were, like, hyper-trained. Like, it was a group of all female, like, priestesses, right? Mm-hmm. But they were, and all this stuff they talk, like, what they're talking about in here, like the living body map, and that's another revitalizing and healing application and stuff like that. Like, being able to basically channel energy into a certain part of your body for a purpose. Right? Or, like, for the Bene Gesserits, where they did their voice modulation in order to, like, control people and make them do things, almost like a Jedi mind trick kind of thing. Right. And they talk about that in here as well.
Right. It's good.
Being able to focus your energy to manipulate others.
Oh, it goes right in hand with the CIA. There's a new song out, by the way, that involves Immortal Technique and R.A. Rugged Man. And in it, you know how he likes to put clips in there? Mm-hmm. I shared it on our YouTube page the other day. Let me look it up real quick. Would have killed the dead silence, as always. The reason I say that, you said Jedi Mind Trick. The song is called Who Do We Trust? Everybody needs to check that song out and share it with your friends and family, especially your children. But they have a CIA, I think it's an ex-director of the CIA, and it's like, you know, talking about one of these military schools where it said, like, you know, don't steal, don't cheat, don't lie. And he laughed and he was like, we had whole training courses in that, the CIA. It's like, I bet you did, bitch. You're literally learning how to do fucking Jedi mind trick shit on people.
Yeah. One of the things, Focus 15 was travel into the past, right?
How's that for a Patreon episode? Me and Tubbs just fucking start foaming at the mouth and go watch JFK get assassinated from the guy in the bushes.
There was more than one gunman.
There were 7. They were gonna get it done.
We start just like bleeding out of our fucking orifices and shit. We're just like writhing on the floor.
Man, did you guys see that new Patreon episode of Bonesandtubs? They were bleeding. Those shit was on fleek.
What caught me was, and this kind of reminds me of the symbol on our logo. Right,
the Ouroboros.
Yeah. So, this is just one of those states they get into. But the way, so a lot of it has to do with our ability to interpret, like, say you get into that state, and it's the ability to interpret what you're seeing, right?
Yeah.
And the people who were visualizing the past envisioned time as a huge wheel in the universe.
Now, by wheel, do you mean flat circle?
With many, with many spokes coming off of it, right?
Yeah.
With various spokes, each of which gives access to different parts of the participant's past. Actually fully achieved the Focus 15 state during the course of the approximately 7 days of training. Nonetheless, Monroe Institute trainers affirm that with enough practice, eventually, Focus 15 with time travel can be achieved. They also state that not only the individual's past history is available for examination by one who has achieved Focus 15, but other aspects of the past with which the individual himself has no connection may also be accessed.
The question I had with these things, and I'm sure it's probably a bit of a learning curve once you get into these focus states.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you go into it, you're a seasoned practitioner of Zen meditation or biofeedback or whatever you choose, and you want to go back in the past. The tricky part to me, because they say you have access not only to this reality, but multiple next door realities, the multiverse.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you know what you're looking at?
That's what I'm saying. Like, this goes back to the whole, I think of Carl Sagan and the Flatlanders.
Yeah. Check out that fucking apple, bro.
How are you able to interpret this data, right?
Yeah.
Things like beyond your comprehension.
Everybody should YouTube Carl Sagan Flatland to know what we're talking about.
Like, to most people, it would just be a bunch of rambling nonsense. Because, like, how could you perceive this? We are spiritual beings,
ghosts,
stuffed inside of meat vehicles.
Yeah.
Suppressed by said meat vehicles.
Right.
For whatever machinations the demiurge has for us.
Stuck in a flesh trap, flesh prison.
So to be able to like
ass reality,
move on past our physical form and start seeing these things, we don't know what we're like. Seems to me like it takes a lot of training to be able to know what you're looking at.
I don't know how much training you'd need because I feel like once you get there, it's the same place you go when you dream.
Well, that's another thing is they talk about the role of REM sleep.
Like you get into REM sleep, you go to your dreamland, you've been there before, you're comfortable, you understand it, because then you're accessing the higher self. This is what I found particularly fucking neat. What rests in between the left and right hemispheres of the brain? The pineal gland.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm trying to think, thinking of brain anatomy, and I was thinking either the pineal gland or the thing down at the bottom is like, that's the reptile brain though, down in like the medulla and all that.
Yeah.
And your cerebellum.
The fight or fuck brain.
Yeah, that's the reptile brain in you.
Yeah. The reason why, and this is another thing that I found fucking titillating about it, this document, is that it brought light to the pineal gland without really talking about it. But, we talked about before, it's kind of strange, and some people might be able to dismiss it away as either future evolution or past evolution that we're moving past. Like, why does the fucking pineal gland have photoreceptors? Mm-hmm. A literal cornea and a lens. It's in your brain. It'll never see sunlight.
Yeah.
That's because once you activate it by hemisyncing the left and right hemispheres, which it sits in between, it sees light that you're not able to perceive.
It sees what you can't see.
Fuck off.
With those flesh bulbs in the front of your face.
That's heavy, right?
But basically what they map out in this whole role of REM sleep is that in reality, any person can tap into this.
Absolutely.
With enough training, anybody can tap into this, because when you're in REM sleep, it's the same. Like, your brain is synced the same way.
You're going home.
Now, the difference is that this goes back to the whole lamp versus laser thing.
Yeah.
So, your brain might be synced, but the problem is you have no focus when you're sleeping.
Right.
Or at least you haven't trained yourself to have focus. So, that's why you have dreams about your teeth falling out and, I don't know what else people dream about.
You ever notice a dream that's lucid? Or one that, like, you're super focused on a thing, and you're in between the wake and the sleep And like, say for instance, I always have this one where I have a coin in my hand, and I can feel its weight. I can feel it in my hand. I can toss it around. And I wake up and I'm like, I definitely have a coin in my fucking hand. It's not there. That's that focus. It's like like as you're coming out of that sink, you hit that minute laser on one detail, and you're like, fuck. I almost manifested a nickel.
I always thought sometimes, like a lot of those, when you talk about the multiverse, that's you kind of sharing a bit of a hive mind with the other multiversions of yourself.
Right.
And the collective, like, thoughts and subconscious of all your minds come together, or however many's in your, like, finite curve of the multiverse. Because I can't imagine you're simultaneously enduring which, I mean, I guess not every version of the universe has you and me in it. You know, you got to think of all.
I think they have infinite amounts.
So, but you can't be feeling it all simultaneously.
What we need to do is learn Hemisync to go into these other realities and kill alternate versions of ourselves so we get more powerful.
There can be only one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what.
Shout out that movie by Jet Li, The One.
Not to jump off the rails real quick, but what if that's really like what like these dark cabal motherfuckers did? Is they've spent years training
killing
and killing themselves in other realities so that they do become stronger.
Yeah. I go, like, you know, I've always talked about meeting Mike DeWine in an elevator, you know, just because I want to shake his hand or whatever.
Yeah.
But then when I go to shake his hand really, really good, he's super strong.
Yeah.
He Jet Li's my ass.
He like, you know, when like you shake a little kid's hand and it like just like crumbles and like just like it's like squishy, like
because babies are weak.
Like shaking hands with a fucking squid.
Yeah.
You know, with all its tentacles at once.
I got something for you on that level.
Yeah, it's just like this little baby hand that you just pulled out of your pocket.
It's a fleshy one.
Yeah, so like it's like yeah,
very squishy.
Yeah, that's what it feels like when imagine I'm Mike DeWine in that scenario, and you're just you,
just someone who has 800,000 versions of himself,
and he pulls you in close to like say some sort of like, you know, some non-committal thing, but he really says,
"You're a bitch.
I fuck better than you."
He knows because he's practiced on so many kids, allegedly. You know, I'm just kidding.
Well, in one universe, you and him had a fuck competition, and he won. That's how he knows that.
Fuck no. One of those realities, I was a child to it. Oh no, allegedly.
I don't even know how the rules of fuck competition would work, but
I do. Go to fucking XNXX and type in fucking octagon fucking.
Okay, I've seen those before. Yeah,
yeah. There's rules. Like
so wait. So if I'm getting this straight,
we wrestle a little bit. If he fingers me, he gets points.
Okay, yeah. There is a multiverse version of you and Mike DeWine where you guys were in the fuck octagon together, and he beat you. He knows that because he killed the guy who did that.
Yeah.
And he mentally, well, what if that's what it is? That's what you have to do is you have to go into the mental octagon with your and fuck him to death.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth is Le Blue Girl. 6 ninjas, you know what I mean?
And it like, you know,
Man, that shit went off
like
the rails.
a multi-penile fucking
Mike DeWine.
tentacle shoots out of his fucking crotch.
His nipple is just a fucking ever-extending cock. Just tiny little nipple dick. And he plays with my nipples with it. I think we just got kicked off YouTube.
Oh my God.
I hope your kids aren't listening. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. But they go on to talk about
I like how you just get super serious.
No, they do talk about
what they talk about is
the one of the notes is belief system consideration, where they talk about the oral teachings of the Tibetan Buddhist sects, and how they correlate with all of this. Basically saying, people have known this for thousands of years, and we've just been too fucking stupid to do something about it.
You said Tibetan, right?
Yes.
Interesting that the first, I read this.
Yeah.
The first initiation level in the Freemasons is the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Yeah. You know, I think about it, and I feel like certain things, like when it comes to philosophy and stuff like this, the East, like in the East, they got it together before we did. Because I feel like we came close with a few things, like when it comes to, say, like Stoicism, right? Where it's a practice of training your body and your mind to be austeric.
It's like a Western version of Buddhism.
More or less. Like, but I don't think it goes far enough, though.
No.
I think it just it gets you to the precipice.
But their whole thing was non-attachment.
Exactly.
Facing your worst fears.
Yeah.
Poverty, stuff like that.
Poverty.
Well, what was his name? Marcus Aurelius always talked about. He's like, what's your biggest fear? Poverty, being poor. He's like, that's why once a month or however often he would dress in sackcloth.
Yeah.
And only eat like poor food.
And then he'd go back later.
So it's not really that bad.
He was the world's greatest stoic, but then he would go back to his palace and then beat the shit out of his slaves.
As he should.
Because they didn't make his food properly. Like
cocksuckers. I've been out here being poor for 48 hours, and you motherfuckers didn't get my chicken
Listen,
right.
that's why, it don't matter. Like, you could be a practicing Buddhist monk, a practicing stoic. The key is that you're always practicing. So sometimes you're going to have a boo-boo.
Yeah.
Right?
You're not perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, fuck, Christ went into the fucking temple and fucking sacked and raised the shit out of that thing because he got pissed.
Yeah, because fuck bankers.
Yeah, well, exactly. But still, he lost his chill.
Listen, bitch, if you don't stop selling these quails at an above market price, I'm going to flip this table and whip y'all ass with a whip.
He lost his cool, man. It happens to the best of us.
And that's the thing that they don't want us to know. That's why we've talked about it too. You want to talk about not knowing it's a practice and thinking everything has to be perfect. Why'd they take that book out of the Bible where he killed Jesus in one of these books of the Bible that was removed? Somebody tell me which one it was. I learned it in college before I dropped out. But
he killed a kid.
Yeah, they were on a roof playing with a toy or something, and Christ and this unfortunate fellow were arguing over whose toy it was, and Jesus was like, "Fuck you!" knocked him off the roof and killed him. And then he went down there and realized what he'd done, brought him back to life. And that's what supposedly sent him into the temple to figure it out.
Yeah, I tell you, when I
get
talk
his life together,
back to the Western ideals that got us close, the purest forms of Christianity, I think, might have gotten us. Once again, it gets us to the precipice.
There's so much truth in the Bible.
But it's still. But the problem about it is, it's like and I think this is where Christianity hits the brick wall, is that it gets you to the precipice. But at the end of the day, it still tries to pronounce the fact that you have no will in it.
I don't agree with that.
Like that, ultimately, what your will is God's will, right?
Do as thou wilt.
Well, that's Aleister Crowley. That's
right,
different.
but the thing they were talking about with him, he wasn't talking about you.
Yeah, he was talking about the
higher self or the Creator. It's really hard to balance, man. There's so many quotes in the Bible that are truthful, talking about the way you should pray. They don't talk about that anymore. If you want something in a prayer, you have to already assume that you've got it and be thankful for what you have and what you're about to gain, right? That's the proper way of praying. And that's why the way we're taught to pray now doesn't work. But then you have to counterbalance that with 2 Kings, talking about Ezekiel, whoever it was, who, pointed at some kids and 2 she-bears fucked them up.
Yeah.
This book's bullshit.
So, basically, the end of this document ends with a series of bullet points to reiterate the things that they were going over in the whole document in and of itself. And now, I read through this, and there was a couple I couldn't find when going back through it again. But it just reemphasizes hemisync, REM sleep. The part that got me was Article K, right? It said, arrange to have groups of people in Focus 12 state unite their altered consciousness to build holographic patterns around sensitive areas to repulse possible unwanted out-of-body presences.
Yeah.
So,
which brings me to a question.
Okay. And I don't know if your question's the same as mine.
I have to assume it is.
But, so we've talked about this before where you have these powerful people, right? And you're thinking, like George Soros and Bill Gates and people like that, and you're like, why doesn't somebody do something?
Right. Tronald Dump or Bo Jiden.
Like, why doesn't somebody do something? And then I saw that, and I was like,
oh, fuck.
What if they have a whole fucking platoon of mind warriors constantly, keeping, this fucking... Now, it's not something you could perceivably see, right?
No, of
but
course
say
not.
you got near them, right? And all of a sudden, you were repulsed in some way.
Yeah. Or you were...
or they got hip to it and they caught you before you could get close enough.
Or similar to, what's that movie? Inception. Where you go in and you change things in a dream, and the dream characters are like...
Yeah.
You draw massive attention to yourself.
Exactly. And they said even then... So This is you in a physical form trying to approach somebody,
Right.
But they are talking to the next level. People
Yeah.
who are actually know how to go out of body trying to do it and being stopped.
Yeah. Which is another thing too, all the symbology of DC and all this, like the magical symbols, all the thoughts and the fucking energy put behind these things, like they literally live in a fucking magical fortress. Mm-hmm. Let alone that was all done before this fucking shit. Like, you know, if this document, if the dating is true, what was it, 1983?
Yeah.
This has been going on for a long time before that.
Yeah.
Now we just have fucking mobilized, like they just pull up what do you think their vehicles look like? Like, I bet it's a Walmart semi. You know, completely nondescript. And they just pull out a bunch of psychic warriors that all look like Karens. And they all sync up.
Have you ever seen the movie Scanners?
I think so.
It was made by David Cronenberg in the 80s. I guess you could call it sci-fi, but it's about how living amongst us, there's this like, I guess they're people, but they're born with ability.
Yeah.
And they can like, basically if they force it enough, they could just make the fucking head explode. Right? But they could do all sorts of crazy shit. They could catch you on fire. They could make your face melt off.
Yeah.
They could do all sorts of shit. As soon as they scan you, they start scanning you, and you're like, whoa! And you grabbing your face, and the shit's just coming off. And
Yeah.
I think David Cronenberg's on. Listen, I know we're doing Tank Girl as our first like bonus episode.
Yeah.
But like, I would love to do like one about the films of David Cronenberg, because I think he was onto something. Because now that I think about it more, between Scanners, which this shit seems like Scanners, like a lot of things now seem like they were just ripped from the pages of this shit, right? But not only that, there's another movie he did called Videodrome, which is about using broadcasting signals to alter people's states of mind and change their bodies physically.
Yeah.
And change and affect them in a way that makes them like do things that they want them to do.
Right. It's something that I think they use against us too. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I didn't write it down and I forgot about it until now. But think about what the controllers do to us, right? With all these news stories, the fact that we have marketing agencies that, for people who still watch TV, I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you count like YouTube or my phone screen.
Yeah.
But like things with commercials, right? Mm-hmm. We're literally driven at every point in these programs, even the radio, the internet, whatever it is. We're kept in such a fucking chaotic state to where we can never sync up and use our brains properly. We're literally psychologically forced into the fucking hamster wheel.
Yeah, I tell you, it makes me think that if there was some sort of like dark winter or the lights went out, I mean, there'd be chaos for sure. But I feel like it might give us a chance to like reconnect with each other.
Unless they have a bunch of fucking psychic warriors that are shooting us with fucking crazy shit, or...
Well, the only thing we can do is start priming ourselves up now.
Yeah, no, my call to action, everybody in this episode, is to go to YouTube and fuck around and find out with these binaural beats.
Yeah.
I'm not even playing. Get a pair of headphones. I'm telling you right now, find you a good theta wave binaural beat when you're ready to go to bed, lay down, and buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm trying to think.
They've also got alpha for people who are studying or trying to do productive ship.
Start working on out of a body experience, right? And I want you to do this for me. If any of you can do this, I don't even know what I'll do. I'll give you some money, right? I'll get. So I want you to start
pay you.
I want you to start working on your out of body experiences, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to travel to our studio, right? Which technically I shouldn't have to give you coordinates. You should
literally you think of it and you show up there.
Exactly.
Because this is a fucking.
I'm going to give you a few clues. Okay, so you go into our studio and there's a table. It's messy right now.
It is very messy.
Okay. On this table is one shot glass.
Sure, it's just one.
I'm pretty sure there's just one.
Okay.
It has a message written on it. Shit. Okay, it's a black shot. It's the black shot glass.
Okay.
Okay, it has a message on it on one side and it has a animal on the other.
Yep.
If you can tell me what is on that shot glass, I will give you $50. I'll send you $50.
I'll Venmo you. What's the animal? I
will send you $50, and I will congratulate you. And then I'm going to ask you how you did it.
Yeah, teach me.
Yeah, teach me how to
The
do it.
teacher has become the student.
Because I want to know. So that's my call to action for you.
Think about it this way, too. Like, we have access to infinite information. You, as an author who wrote the book The King's Fire, Prophecy and Flame by S. James Imhoff, available on Amazon. To go back to the book by Stephen King on writing, it talks about the same shit. Mm-hmm. Access to, finding your, being able to pull these dinosaurs out. Why aren't we using this to write the next Harry Potter or create a multi-billion-dollar corporation?
Well, and that's, I've talked about before, I learned it more to hone it in Magic Volume 1. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole notion of your mind house.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I organize my ideas in the thing, like my memories, everything is inside of there, right? Mm-hmm. And you start with practices like that. And then you work on your meditation skills. And meditation's easy. You could literally do it just about anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it while you're like driving or anything.
That's probably not a good idea.
No.
A monk once said that he laughed and said somebody told him he didn't have time to meditate. And the monk laughed and he said, "Do you have time to breathe?" Because that's meditation.
Yeah.
Concentrate on the breath.
Yeah. Concentrate on the breath. Concentrate on your heartbeat. Try to sync all these things together. That's how they do it.
I'm telling you right now.
It's that simple.
Do you want me to text you this? But you need to fucking put on a pair of headphones and try out one of those binaural beats. That shit's gangster.
Is it the music?
Yeah.
Yeah. Caitlin sent it to me. I was listening to him.
Did it do anything to you?
It just sounded cool. Like, it's music, right?
I'll show you. They have some real ones and they have some ones that don't work as well.
Because, like, she was sending me music, and it sounded like the shit was, like, around me. Like, it wasn't, like, just in my ears. It sounded like someone would be talking behind me and then on this side of me. Very directional.
Where is... I'll go ahead and play it into the microphone real quick, just so everybody can get a little feel for it. I typed in binaural beats meditation. This is going to send you to a 7 hertz wave, and it's hidden inside of the music or the sound. Theta meditation. It's got like nature sounds, music, but the tone is constant. So if you sit back and lay down with your eyes closed and concentrate on this shit, you're going somewhere. Mm-hmm. You want me to send you that?
Yes, please.
Is that similar?
Yes. I think she was talking about something else.
For anybody that wants to follow us on YouTube or that already does, I'll share it as a post also. So youtube.com/Bonesandtubs show. I'm going to put it on as a post.
Yeah, start working on your
get some.
Your mind warrior skills, because guess what? The government's already doing it.
They are, yeah. I'm really glad that this is a thing now. This is the first episode that we've done in a while that I didn't feel like driving into a telephone pole.
Oh, and we got more to come because I've been collecting data. I literally just have a list that I've been writing. I only have 4 on there right now, but there'll be more.
Can I look at it? Why J. Edgar Hoover?
Oh man,
dress up in drag.
Listen, I want to do an episode of that about that piece of shit.
No, I get it. He's a shitbag.
I just like
government is slavery, taxation is theft,
and I'm pretty sure he had a few people killed.
Oh yeah. Do you think he wore pantyhose while he did it?
Yes. Like I write these things down as I see them, and I'm like, oh,
fuck him.
So then I'll like look into it a little bit more, and I'll be like, is this worth our time? And then I'll be like, yes, it is. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and write that down.
I wish I could remember the Immortal Technique song where that was one of the lyrics.
It's like apartheid with 10% ruling the rest. That type of stress will make me put the fucking tool in your chest. Step in my way, nigga, I wouldn't wanna be ya. I burn slow like pissing drunk with gonorrhea. I'll do a free show in North Korea, burning the flag, while J. Edgar Hoover politicians dress up in drag.
J. Edgar Hoover politicians dress up in drag. That to me, I see him having someone killed while he's walking around stilettos. Like, I'm sorry, whatever. That's just how I envision him.
I get it.
I've listened to Immortal Technique for entirely too long.
Nah, he's good.
He's all right.
He's just all right?
No, he's really good.
Yeah.
No, you didn't say anything about Immortal Technique.
Who's my little piggy?
I'll never not laugh at that video.
Guys, there is a YouTube channel We're not friends with him or anything like that, but he's goddamn hilarious.
Yeah, I hope that he hears this episode and wants to be friends and makes a Bones and Tubs Meat Canyon.
His name is Meat Canyon on YouTube. And
what a gross way to describe a vagina.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He makes cartoons, and they're pretty goddamn hilarious. The first one, we've talked about one of them before, but it got pulled, and it's hard to find
So
now.
stupid.
Because Warner Brothers wanted to kill him.
Yeah. Was that the Bugs Bunny one?
Yeah.
Elmer Fudd.
Got a tight little man pussy on you, don't ya?
You got a tight little man pussy on you, don't you?
But go check him out. But you know what you also should check out? You should check out JMY5.
Yeah. Before we get to our dude, though, you got to check out Tony the Tiger on Meat Canyon. It's great. But yes, JNY5. JNY5 Internet Studios on Instagram, JNY5.com. Check him out. Let him know Bones and Tubs Podcast sent you. Show him love. Like all of his posts. Share his stuff in your story. Tag him in it. Tell him you love him. Mm-hmm. Let him know. Buy his stuff. Wear his clothes. Every shirt that you buy, he's replacing and creating one for a homeless person in the Boston area, I believe.
Yeah.
I just questioned myself. Hopefully it's Boston. I'm kind of retarded. Sorry if it's the wrong city. I love you.
I'm just checking for emails real quick.
What about Blood of the Brave? Blood of the Brave at Bandcamp, Blood of the Brave aka Kyle Reese on Twitter, Blood of the Brave on Instagram.
It's that music you hear.
It's that Norman Heemeyer rap.
Those music boys.
For those of you who haven't heard our episode on Norman Heemeyer, the Killdozer, check it out, and you'll fully get a grip on that song.
Hey,
and why I'm obsessed with it.
You know, you could always reach out to us in our email. I was just looking through it, and
I thought we had one.
I'm
or
not
two.
seeing it.
Oh, I have a Frank Castle. I have a few Frank Castles. Would you like me to play them?
Yes.
Man, I don't even know where to start. Sorry, buddy. I meant to save all these and put them in the episode, but I don't remember where I wanted to start at. Then we might edit this out.
My biggest fear is checking 1, 2, checking 1.
All right, here we go. Frank Castle of the Three Amigos.
2. Checking 1, 2, checking 1, 2. Wellness check, gents. Or hast thou perished in the flames of purgatory during thine slumber?
That was when we didn't put out that episode last week because I couldn't
copy.
physically do it. Let me see. It might need a little silence. Might have to delete this one.
Could be worse, mates. Could be worse. Much like everyone else, just, one day at a time, struggling to prepare for the next chapter in whatever nightmare simulation this is. I don't like it. But, right up there with losing your mind. I get it. But we're all mad here. And I hear all the best ones are. So there's that.
Who's your tiger?
I told him that.
I have to agree.
I told him. I told him that I agreed, and I had to think it was the Mercury-lined hats.
That would make sense.
There is something to be said about the 86ers. Just as long as it's not the fucking fluoride water, I'm fine. Greetings, gents. So, help me with this one. I've had this individual stop by my house twice now, which is the only reason I'm mentioning it, trying to figure out. Mostly, I think I know where it's going, and I don't like it. But the same woman has stopped by with her, significant other? Let's just call it that. I don't know them. I don't plan on knowing them. But they keep coming by here looking for their stimulus check, or as the media overlords, no. As Project Mockingbird calls it, I know you're going to edit it, that's fine.
No, I'm not.
It doesn't matter, but I'm going to call it what it is. Project Mockingbird calls it the economic impact payment. Well, people are looking for it. People who haven't gotten it. And they're going to places where they used to live in search for it. What happens when they don't get it? Do you think the cops are going to help me?
Fucking love this dude.
Woman, I haven't got mine either. It don't matter. It's bloody stupid. I don't know. Wait.
I fucking love it.
That's what it is. Just, breathe deep about it.
My fucking dude. I got one
Nice.
more and then I'll be done. Sorry for the length.
We can understand the current affairs driving one to contemplate putting an ice pick through their eye socket. You can only autistically shriek into the darkness for so long before you get a headache. You know?
I do.
But thanks for covering some of the news articles and shit. I have a bad habit of not looking at it for too long and then being overwhelmed by what's there. I try to keep my ear to the ground so I'm not completely overwhelmed by the avalanche of bullshit that comes. That's good news about China firming up their borders, I guess. Precursor to war or invasion, maybe? I don't know. The dragon is rising. Too bad dragons are extinct. I don't know. Hey, how was the movie? Did you guys enjoy it? Have you seen it? Well, Tubbs has. At least I'm pretty sure Tubbs has. Anyway, let me know. Love you, gents. Take care.
Love you too, buddy. He has seen it. I have not yet. It is queued on my desktop.
And yeah, we will be watching it this week so that we can do that bonus episode for y'all.
Most deaf.
But
Love playing those.
yeah, that's one way you can get a hold of us. You can get us on Gmail. You get us on Instagram.
Bonesandtubs@gmail.com. Instagram.com/Bonesandtubs. Twitter @Bonesandtubs. YouTube.com/Bonesandtubs Show. Facebook.com/Bonesandtubs. We're also on Cloud Hub. I don't remember the name. It's a new thing. It'll probably be gone next week. Remember Parler? That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're also on Patreon.
Patreon.com/Bonesandtubs. Get you some merch.
PayPal, Venmo, and Cashapp.
All those things if you want to support us. But I'll be honest with you, if you could just share the fuck out of our episodes.
Because I have a feeling here soon we're probably going to get a decent influx from disenfranchised. That letter with the circle with the little slash that goes at the bottom,
little squiggly,
little curly Q.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna get a few of them. They're gonna be like, God,
if they don't kill themselves,
we were wrong.
Yeah,
and you were right. We're sorry.
We're gonna have to wait until at least September, though. They're gonna wait again till
But we'd like to thank you all for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know I did.
I did too. It's nice to be back. Mm-hmm. Luckily, we got out of the cult.
Yeah, we had to pull ourselves out of that. We had to get back to our roots.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. Go to Amazon.com and look up The King's Fire, Prophecy and Flame by S. James Imhoff. Buy it. You know, you get a physical copy.
People have been buying it too.
You write us an email. You ask for an address. We will send you an address. A guy named Jorge. Okay, Jorge will meet you on the corner of that address. He will then take your book, take you into a warehouse, and not rape you. While he gives the book to Tubbs, who will sign it, put a pubic hair on page 86, and then give you the book back. Unraped.
Yes. Yeah, people have been buying it too because I've been getting residuals from sales.
That's good. You know that time we talked about you reading it and me editing it and then putting it on Audible? That was cool.
Yeah. What do you give me like that for, man?
I gave him a dead face.
I got like fucking 6 irons in the fire right now.
Yeah, but a lot of it's Overwatch. Fuck. Just shitting.
I'm
just trying to make you a millionaire. No big deal.
No. I get it.
You're my dude.
But I'm trying to work on, that future podcast that we've been talking about too.
You know I love you. It's a little eustress. Just
I
give me a
get
little it's EU stress.
Yeah.
Not European Union, but
Ew.
the healthy one.
Yeah. But we'd like to thank you all for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. We hope to see you guys next time. And between now and again, you stay safe.
Before I tell them how we feel, what are the chances of you doing a podcast by yourself, much like I've been doing?
I don't know. I don't know if I could just sit and talk to myself for long periods of time.
Self-talk shy. I get it. Just curious. I had a few people ask me about it.
Well,
because they like it's like a look into our personal, you know what I mean? So yours might not even be, mine's autistically fucking going crazy over news stories. So yours might be like,
I just feel like I don't know if I could keep their attention for that long.
You should record you playing an episode of Overwatch.
Oh my! It'd just be me yelling the whole time. But like
it's a picture into your life.
In my like weird scattershot brain, like I'm not saying people couldn't like. I just don't think people would find my stream of consciousness that exciting. Because
that's where you're wrong, bud.
It jumps everywhere.
That's where you're wrong, bud.
It's all over the place, and I'd probably end up getting myself in trouble.
Think about like Kinks, like the website Sniffer. There's somebody always out there willing to buy your panties. You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe I'll throw one out there and see how it does.
I used a blue snowball in the last one.
Okay.
It edited up real nice. Yeah. Although I did cut out too much breathing, so Battlebun told me it sounded like I never breathed. Something like, breathe more. Like, I get it. I thought the same thing as I uploaded, like, fuck.
Maybe I could record one, like, while I'm, like, playing Overwatch, but just talking at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then just, like, because it'll be staccatoed by occasional, fuck!
Cocksucking bitch! Heal me, you cunt!
Do your fucking job! But, we'd like to thank you all
fuck you Egyptian faggot! For those in the know, that was Farrah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
And Anna. They're both Egyptian, but that's
I always call her a tiny hat, man. I don't know why. Every time I yell at Anna, it's always like, fucking Jew! It's like Cartman.
Oh, she always wears that beret, so.
That might be it.
But we hope you guys come back next time. Between now and again, you stay safe.
We love you.
We really do.
The bad thing about being honest, the straightforward and doing that is people know where you stand and they try to take advantage of you. They take advantage of your good nature. They take advantage of the fact that they know that you're a good guy, you are a straight shooter, and that you're not going to retaliate on them when they fuck you. Well, folks, most of the time, I believe that's probably true. But God built me to be here to prove to you that what you have been doing for God knows how many years is wrong. You picked on the wrong man. I'm not tough.
You hear that?
I'm not that strong.
Yeah. They rolled up in all black, windows half crashed, scoping out the scene before they attacked. Had they on bad guys in most people's eyes. Most trust them with their life cause they got a badge and tie. Gifted a position given to them by a system that set it all up to put the kids into prison. This is non-fiction, non-violence, so just listen. They got a mission to imprison your mind and soul. This ain't nothing new, but we survive what we're sold. And don't believe in ourselves, but believe what we're told. And we're all molded by a machine that gets in your dreams. It can get in your gut and kill your self-esteem. And I've been scolded and told who I should be, but I'll never conform. I was born to be free. It's a setup, I never let up. From the cradle to the grave, they got you in the cage. It's a setup, so keep your head up, cause they're selling all that doubt with every word at the mouth. It's a setup, I never let up. From the cradle to the grave, they got you in the cage. It's a setup, so keep your head up, cause they're selling all that doubt with every word at the mouth. Giving up is a birth, yeah, that's a fact. Deny it if you want, but I'll do the math. I face facts and understand how to overstand the plan with my mind intact. And I got more than a plan, I got hope and belief, dreams and faith, and know damn well that's what they want to take. It's a weapon, fear's aggression, and they plant it in our minds to the point we can't find a way out, a way in. And anywhere you go, you'll see how many men over there and everywhere. They're armed and prepared to do whatever it takes. They don't play fair, that's a jump out boys with the plastic toys draped in all black, ready to bring the noise. A setup, I never let up. From the cradle to the grave, they got you in the cage. It's a setup, so keep your head up, cause they're selling all that doubt with every word at the mouth. It's a setup, and never let up. From the cradle to the grave, they got you in the cage, it's a setup. So keep your head up, cause they're selling all that doubt with every word at the mouth.